So I've just shared a link. It's the slides that we'll be using for this particular tutorial, or for today's session, that is. So kindly confirm whether I am audible enough.
Yeah, you
Okay, nice. Yeah, so for today's session, we'll be doing deploying front-end and backend canisters to the mainnet. So I'll divide it into two sections. The first one is just a second, I share my screen. So you can confirm whether you can see my screen. Are you guys able to see my screen? Am I audible? Can you guys hear me?
we can hear you. We can see the screen.
Oh, okay. So nice. Yeah. So I'll divide the session into two parts. The first one is if you're using the cycles ledger, and the other session is if you're converting ICP tokens to cycles directly. Yeah. So just next slide. Yeah, so what are cycles? So for guys that are not familiar with cycles, just to give you like a backstory or a background story. ICP normally has a whole network of particular computers, or commonly referred to as nodes, that run the whole network. So for canisters to run, that is for them to use like the computation and storage, they normally need to pay for resources. And in other blockchains, these resources are normally paid in the native the native currency of that particular blockchain network. For example, if it's Ethereum, the resources are paid in ETH. If it's Arbitrum, the resources are paid in Arbitrum. And if it's the most famous one, that is Bitcoin, the resources are paid in Bitcoin. But now for ICP, it works a bit differently. That is. So the resource consumption is normally paid in cycles and not ICP tokens. So if you're deploying your canister to the mainnet, you as a developer, you have to load up the canister with cycles in order for it to pay for the resources, so that it can pay for the network, that is the computers that are connected to the network, so that they can ideally, because these guys have spent money buying that particular equipment in order to participate in the network, so they have to get like some returns. Yeah. So as the canister is being used, that is transactions are happening. Maybe someone is updating some section of data, deleting some section of data, querying data, and the cycles are being consumed during these particular transactions. So that's where the cycles are being consumed. And yeah. So the major difference between the cycles and ICP tokens is ICP is very volatile. That is, its price normally fluctuates depending on the market, depending on the current state or the current condition of the market. So during like a bull market, the price may be so high. During a bear market, the price may be so low. And this is really it's if, for the lack of a better term, it's bad, because now let's assume your application is being used during a time whereby there's a bull run. So the ICP is like it's very its price is very high. So it means that it's like it will be a bit expensive to run your particular canister or your particular application. So for cycles, they are not. This is because they are not volatile, or rather their price doesn't fluctuate, since it is pegged to XDR, which is normally a basket of currencies. So how do you get started with cycles, that is acquiring cycles? The first thing is you can get started with free cycles by using the cycles faucet. As I had mentioned earlier, this session is divided into two parts. The first one is we'll use free cycles, and the second one is we'll directly convert our ICP tokens to cycles. So in order for you to get started with free cycles, the first step is going to the Definity Dev Discord channel. So I'll just present like my whole so I'm presenting my particular window. So we'll just go to the Discord channel. I've sent the link, the presentation link in the Telegram group, so you guys can just the link is over there in the slides. So if you come to the Discord channel, you accept the invite. As it loads, I'll just take you guys through. This is how this particular page that's loading will look like. So you'll accept the invite. Once you've accepted the invite, you will navigate to the Cycles faucet server, of which it's this one over here. Then once you're there, you will execute the following command: request. And after executing the command, you'll be prompted to fill in a particular survey. So it contains just a few. It's just a short survey to get to ideally just know you as a developer, and in order to prevent like developers acquiring more than the maximum number of coupons that a particular developer is supposed to have. Like for example, I think the maximum number of coupons currently is 3. And me personally, I depleted all my 3 coupons, so currently I cannot get any free cycles. Yeah. So I'll just open the server. So to prevent this, to ensure that it's like a form of a KYC to ensure that each developer, I don't know why the site's not loading. Yeah, to ensure that developer gets like a limited set of amount of coupons before now they get started on deploying their canisters to the mainnet. So it's loading. So ideally you'll just go to the faucet channel and execute this particular command request. Then once you've executed the command, you'll be prompted to fill in the survey. Once you fill in, you've filled in the survey. Sorry, let me share my screen again. So let me present that is. Yes, so once you've filled in the survey, and it normally takes some few hours, maybe like 1 or 2 hours for the Definity team to review a submission, because they normally go through it personally. So once they review a submission and they ensure that you haven't exceeded your maximum number of coupons that you're supposed to get, they will send you a private. So the faucet bot will send you a private message with a coupon code, which the coupon code is this one over here. If you're seeing, if you're seeing my cursor, it's this one, this 7885. So that's how the coupon code looks like. And once you've had the coupon code, you'll head over to this particular URL, the faucet.definity.org, and follow the particular steps to redeem it. So let me just check whether Discord is open. Yeah. So once you're in the Discord channel for Definity or ICP developer community, this is the command that you should try to just write request. And once you execute it, you get this particular survey that fill in. So I won't fill in the survey because there's no need, but you just it's a self-explanatory thing. So you'll just fill in this particular. I think for now they only ask for the GIST URL. So you just put in an explanation of maybe the type of project that you want to deploy. Maybe you're just starting out with ICP and you're doing like a fast minute deployment. You just input it in the GIST. Yeah. Once you're done, you submit. Then after after a few hours, maybe sometimes it takes like a few minutes, depending on how active they are. This force bot will DM you with the coupons. As you see, me personally, I got 1, 2, 3 coupons. So I've already depleted my coupon, um, the number of coupons that I'm supposed to get as a dev. And you can see I tried doing it again, and requesting for a few coupons, and yeah, the request was declined. So you can't request a maximum of more than 3 coupons. Yeah. So a particular coupon normally has around 10 trillion cycles, which is enough to deploy 3 canisters, because 1 canister is equivalent to, it normally takes around if I'm not wrong, 3 trillion cycles. Yeah. So once you have the coupon, you head over to this particular URL. So I'll just copy it. My screen, yeah, my screen is still visible. So once you have the coupon code from the first set, you will head over to this particular URL, faucet.yes, then you'll redeem it. So once you've requested the cycles, you can just proceed to the next step, redeeming it. So I'll just use one of these coupon codes, although it has expired. But for the purposes of showing you guys, just go to the next step. Then of course you have to ensure that your effects version is at least 0.12. Then you go to the next step, which is claiming. Then you just copy this particular command, and I think I'll now present just a second. Yes, so I'll just come and paste it over here, but it will bring an error because the coupon has already expired, so it won't redeem the coupon. So you can see the code has expired, used or not redeemable. So ideally, once you have done this, you're now, once you've redeemed your coupon, that is, if your coupon hasn't expired, you can now let's say fx new and mainnet deploy test. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a new project using the effects so that I can deploy it to the mainnet. So once you are done redeeming the coupon, you can now deploy your canisters. That is your frontend and your backend canisters, depending on the amount of canisters you have. Sorry, on the number of canisters you have, you can now deploy it to the mainnet. Yeah. And as I had mentioned a while back, a particular coupon is equivalent to 10 trillion cycles. So 10 trillion cycles are enough for deploying. I think it's 4 canisters, so no, 3 canisters. Because each canister normally takes around 3 trillion cycles. That is, if you haven't specified the amount of cycles that you need for a particular canister. I hope I'm still audible. Yeah. So what I'm doing currently is creating a new project. A new project using DFX. So I'll just open this project using my VS Code so that I can show you guys how to deploy using how to get cycles using ICP tokens. Yeah. So I'll just share my VS Code. I hope my VS Code is visible. Yes, I think it's visible. So yes, so once you redeem your coupons, The next step is just deploying them to the mainnet. So the command for deploying them to the mainnet is dfx deploy. Then you'll add the command network. So all these details are in the slides that I just shared in the Telegram channel. But now it won't deploy because I don't have enough cycles for it to deploy. So I have to buy ICP tokens and convert them. So the next step, I hope you're following up with the slides, is now deploying using I think I lost my slides. Where are my slides? Yes, I have them. The next step is now converting ICP token to cycles, then deploying it using the cycles that you've just converted from the ICP tokens. So the first step is normally to configure or get the account ID of the particular identity that you're using. So if I write the FX identity list, it will show me all my identities. So I'll just use the default one for now. If I do the FX ledger account ID -ID, it will print for me my account ID. So this is the particular account ID that I will send the ICP tokens to. So I will go to an exchange. So currently, right now, let me show you guys practically. So if I do the FX ledger dash network IC balance, it will print for me the number of ICP tokens that are stored or are available in this particular account ID. So I have like 0.00083 ICP tokens, which aren't enough for deploying one canister. So what I'll do is just go to Binance. Currently I'm going to Binance, so I could share my screen, but I can't. I'll just copy this particular account ID, then head over to Binance and send a certain amount of ICP tokens to this particular address. So just go to Binance. I hope all of you know how to use Binance and send crypto to particular addresses using Binance. So I'll input the number of so I'll just send for now. Let me send 0.2 ICP tokens. Yeah, because ideally 0.1 ICP is enough for deploying a particular canister, but don't get me wrong, it's not enough for running, because it depends with what the logic of the particular canister. If the canister if it's just a static website, 0.1 ICP tokens are enough. But then if it's a functional website, that is, people will be interacting with it often, yeah, 0.1 ICP canisters are not enough, because that's the minimum amount of ICP tokens that you need to load to a particular canister in order for you to deploy it. So just the effects. I'll just run the initial command and see whether the ICP has come. Yeah, so you can see initially it was 0.0083 ICP tokens, but now it's 0.2 ICP tokens. So what I'll do, first of all, I'll try creating a canister on the internet computer mainnet using a particular command. So just copy it because it's a bit long. all this info is in the slides that I just shared. So you guys can just check the slides. Yeah, you can just follow along with the slides. So just come and paste this command, and over here canister name. So what I'm going to do is I will load, as you know, the mainnet. Sorry, not the mainnet, but the backend and the frontend canisters are a bit independent. canister by itself, and you can also you can't deploy the front-end canister by itself, because as you can see over here in the DFX JSON file, its dependencies is the backend canister, but ideally the front-end canister is also independent, in the sense you can also deploy it independently. So I'll just come over here, and this particular command that you are seeing that I'm writing, DFX canister dash network IC creates a new canister on the on now ICP's mainnet. So I'll just write the command and write the particular it's supposed to have a canister name. So I'll just write the name of the canister that I'd like to create on the mainnet. So I'll copy the mainnet deploy test backend. So this is the project template that we created a few minutes ago. So it's creating a canister. It will return an error, which is okay. So it returns an error that the canister, this particular ID of the canister, is out of cycle. So this ID is not my canister ID, but ideally it's my identity ID. So I'm supposed to load cycles to this particular identity ID so that it can create the canister that I'd like to deploy currently. So let me just show you the amount of cycles that are present in this particular canister ID. So I'll write the command dfx wireless network IC balance. So it shows me the amount of cycles that are present in my particular identity, which is, as I had mentioned before, it's the default identity. And you can see it's 0.323 trillion cycles, which are not enough for creating a canister. So what I'll do is just a second. I'll top up this particular canister ID with cycles from the ICP tokens that I just sent to myself earlier. I hope that's clear. So you see this particular canister ID. I'll top it up with cycles from that are converted from this particular ICP tokens that I sent to myself earlier. So how am I going to do this? I will write a command, which it's also a bit long, so I'll just copy it. So I'll just come. All of this info is in the what is called in the presentation that I just sent in the Telegram channel. So I'll come and copy this particular canister ID and paste it. And then over here, I'll input the amount to 0.1 ICP. So as I told you, 0.1 ICP is not viable whenever if you're deploying like an interactive app, because the cycles will be depleted way quickly or fast, and you'll have to top up again. But just for the purposes of me showing you guys, the minimum amount is like 0.1 ICP. So I'll just run that particular command, wait for it to I hope you guys are following along. If you get lost somewhere, just you can just type in the chat box. You can just unmute yourself. And you can see, so the canister has been topped up with this amount of cycles. So we'll try running the previous command, the one that we were running to create a new canister. So we'll try running it again. We see whether it will create the mainnet deploy backend canister. So let's see whether it will work. If it doesn't work, then it means we have to load up some other ICP, some more ICP tokens to it. Yeah, it's out of cycles. Okay, yeah. So I'll just repeat the previous command again. It was also 0.1 ICP tokens. So I'm waiting for the transaction to, yeah, the transaction is complete. And if I check the balance of my IC of my cycles, I'll see it has increased to, let it load. Yeah, 1.564 trillion cycles. And as you can see over here, when I ran the command, it was around 0.323 trillion cycles. Yeah. So let's see whether these cycles are enough to deploy the mainnet, deploy the backend canister, that is, to the mainnet. Yes, and you can see it has created the backend canister with an ID of this particular ID. So just to show you guys, if you go to the Internet Computer dashboard, go to dashboard, put in internetcomputer.org. So let me try opening it on my end. I hope my internet won't let me down. Just a second. Okay, I'll show that to you guys later once we've deployed the canister. So ideally, we've created a backend canister on IC's network with this particular canister ID. So the next step, once you've already created the canister, is to deploy that particular canister. So if I want to deploy, I'll just the same command dfx deploy, but now I'll add the network, the flag of network IC, and I will specify the particular canister that I'd like to deploy. That is, we are first starting with the backend canister. So that's the canister that we are currently deploying. So dfx deploy network IC. So yeah, so it's compiling and compiling all the backend logic so that you can deploy it. You just wait for it to be done. It normally takes a few minutes, sometimes like 1 or 2 minutes maximum, depending on how heavy your canister is. That is either the front end or the back end canister. Yeah, so it has deployed it. and I'll just send this URL so that you guys can check it out and see whether it's live. But it's live. It's actually live. Yeah, so I've sent it in the TG group. You can just check it out over there. So this is now the backend canister. The backend canister has been deployed now. Now let's work on the frontend canister. The method is still the same. So I'll just clear my terminal and I'll come and type dfx ledger. Dash network. I see balance. So you can see it has depleted all my 0.2 ICPs. So I need to top up with around I think another 0.2 ICPs for it to work. So I'll just send myself some other 0.2 ICPs. So just a second. I think I've done a lot of withdrawals from Binance and now it's flagging me. Just a second. Okay, my Binance is flagging, so it's okay. We can just proceed with. Let me see whether I can open another project that had cycles in it. Yeah, so whenever you make like a lot of transaction on Binance, it seems it normally flags you. So once you've deployed your backend canister, the next step is to deploy the frontend canister. So the steps are still the same. The first step is to create a canister for the frontend canister using the command, using this particular command. As I've mentioned again and again, the command is in the slides that I sent in a while back in the TG group. So I don't think it will create the front-end canister because I've already created one for this particular what's this called, for this particular project. So but this is the command you'll write. So you'll just come to you will copy the dfx canister dash network IC create, and you put the with cycles flag, and then you input the name of the canister that you're creating, either frontend or backend, then create. Then once you're done with that, first of all, it will give you an error because you don't have enough ICP or ICP enough cycles, that is. to create the canister. So there's the command that you're supposed to write is dfx ledger top up in order to top up like the amount of ICPs that are needed in order to convert the ICPs that you've just sent yourself from Binance into cycles for that particular canister ID. So over here, I'll just come and input the canister ID. I think I already did this. Then once you're done executing that command, the next command will be now dfx deploy. So just come and dfx deploy dash network. I see, then inputs the name of the canister. So we had already deployed like our backend canister. So then the other canister that will deploy is our front-end canister. So yeah, we'll execute the command for deploying the front-end canister. So just to explain to you, so it's very important for you guys to first deploy the backend canister, then deploy the front-end canister, because ideally the front-end canister, as you can see over here, it's one of its dependencies, okay, its main dependencies, it's on the backend canister. So the backend canister has to be deployed first before you can deploy the front-end canister. The other step you can do is just loading the cycles to each of the canisters, then just doing dfx deploy once you've loaded the cycles to each of the canisters, so that you can deploy both of them directly. So as you can see, my front-end canister has been deployed, and it's on this particular URL. So I'll just I'll open it. Give me a second. So I'll come to the URL. Yeah, and open it. Let me share that particular screen. Yes, and as you can see, my front-end canister has been deployed, both the front-end and the back-end, and they are available on that particular URL. So I'll just come and also open the back-end canister. So it's taking some bit of time to load. Yeah, but as you can see, it's deployed. The URL is live. Yeah, and it's deployed on the mainnet. And that is it. So that's how you deploy both your backend and your front-end canisters to the mainnet. So just to do a recap, the first thing that we did is there are two steps of doing this. The first one is we use the cycles faucet to get free cycles in order to help us deploy our canisters without having to use the just a second. Yeah. So the first thing is deploying our it's using the cycles faucet to get the coupon code that will help us redeem it in order for us to like acquire free cycles. And then the next step is directly converting ICP tokens to cycles. So just a few things to point out. The Dfinity team is still working on the command for directly converting the ICP tokens that are sent to a particular ledger account ID to cycles, so that you can just deploy it directly with one command, that is dfx deploy. dash dash network IC without having to load those particular, without having to load your canisters with a certain amount of cycles from the ICP tokens converted from your ledger account here. So it's from the DFX cycles command, of which I think recently they introduced, not I think, but they actually introduced DFX cycles wallet, of which it's like in beta mode, so it's not fully it hasn't been worked on fully. The DFX cycles the DFX cycles command, or the whole command for DFX cycles. So ideally what's supposed to happen with it is it helps you. Currently we're using the DFX wallet, the cycles wallet that is derived from the DFX wallet command. So the major difference between the cycles wallet and the cycles ledger is that for the wallet, the Definity team is planning on completely doing away with it, but with time, currently no, so that we can just focus on the cycles ledger, the cycles ledger, the cycles ledger, and not on the wallet, on the cycles wallet. Yeah, and all these particular commands are found in the in the official documentation on, just share it again, official documentation on ICP docs. So if you come to, I think my laptop is lagging a bit. Okay, yeah, it's lagging. But ideally, if you come to the the official docs on ICP, and you come to developer tools, is it developer tools, or let me just check. If you come to developer tools, then command line, the effects, you can see the different the effects commands that are present. So for the ones for deploying to mainnet, it's a combination of different commands, of which, as I told you guys, it's all in the presentation slides that I shared, so you can just get it over there. But ideally, it's a combination of the FX canister commands, which they can be found over here. The FX cycles command, you can see it gives you, like, the documentation is quite clear on the different commands that you need to use whenever you want to do like a particular thing. The DFX cycles command, the documentation is also very clear on the particular commands you need to use. But this one, as I had mentioned, they recently introduced the cycles ledger, of which is quite new. And you can see they also give you a note. The cycles ledger is in the development, and the DFX cycles command is not expected to work on mainnet at this time. So it does work, but there are certain sub commands that don't work, such as convert, of which this command directly allows you to directly convert ICP tokens that are in your ledger ID directly to cycles, so that the cycles can be there in your ledger ID, in order to prevent you from just like sending the cycles to every canister whenever you want to deploy it. So you can just deploy the cycles directly using the DFX deploy command without having to send like the cycles to a particular canister ID. So ideally, if this command starts to work, it will be able to eliminate the whole long process we're going through right now in order to like load our canisters with ICP with cycles directly converted from ICP tokens. And you can see this is the DFX deploy command, so the command for deploying the tokens. Yeah, everything is in the documentation. You can just come and check it over here. I'll also send this command, but my laptop is hanging. But yeah, that marks the end of this session. So if there are any questions, you can just ask. or we can just end the session. The recording will be shared for those in order for you guys to like follow along, because I know it's a bit of a it's a lot of content that you can't just digest in one particular session. Yeah. So are there any questions for now? Okay, I don't think there are any questions, but I hope you found the session informative, and now you can deploy your canisters to the mainnet without having some bit of struggle. I know most of you know all these steps. Yeah, but just for the sake of the few of you that didn't know. Yeah. Okay, awesome, nice. So that marks the end of our session. Yeah, we'll just end it over here. Thank you guys for showing up, and see you. We'll share the recording by tomorrow. Yeah, so see you tomorrow.